Anton with the Biz Foundry. Thank you all for tuning in to Powered by Her. As we wrap up season 2, I want to thank everyone for all of your support that we've seen over this past season. If you'd like to join us for our season 2 wrap party and live studio audience on November 3rd, you can go to tickets.poweredbyher.com. As always, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your grandma, tell everyone to watch Powered by Her. We appreciate all the support. Today we have Morgan Johnson with Simple Beef Company in on our great couch. Welcome, Morgan.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
Good. So tell us just a little bit, what is Simple Beef Company?
Simple Beef Company is a locally raised beef company. I have since added pork and lamb. All of our products are sourced right here in the Upper Cumberland from specific farmers that raise the animals to fit the standards of the company. So everything is local, it comes from local farm families, and it's just a really good way to source healthy, high-quality meat products.
So typically, I kind of always categorize people as one of two entrepreneurs, either a serial entrepreneur or a passion entrepreneur. And you are 100% fall into the passion entrepreneur category. So tell me about your passion for why you think Simple Beef Company, this is not a business you started. You purchased this business a couple years ago, but you've grown it and you've done some amazing things with it.
Right. So yes, it is a passion. I think it's very important that we as people know where our food is coming from and we have the ability to source those items from local places. Things that you get at the grocery store are not of good quality. You don't know what you're getting when you buy it. So for me, it's nice to be able to supply those things to the area and bring those to the people who may not be able to find them otherwise. A lot of people have a hard time finding farmers for things like that.
Where does that passion come from? Why do you care what, we've talked about it before, and you say taste is one thing, but what else besides taste? Why does it matter what we put in our bodies?
Sure. Well, you only get one body, so you should definitely take care of it, and that's very important. A lot of people overlook that with the things that they consume, and I'm not going to sit here and say that I eat 100% great things all the time because I love a taco just as much as anybody else does. But with that being said, we do have one body and we should take care of it and love it. And if you put into it good things, it will give you good things out of it.
Well, and even a taco, you can put in simple beef.
Yes, you could have a simple beef taco and it'll be much better for you than a store-bought beef taco.
Or if you go and
Taco Bell,
your cheese dip. So you do not love entrepreneurship. A lot of people that, in my world especially, we're huge entrepreneurship cheerleaders. And this has been a little bit more of a struggle for you than you thought. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So I do not love it. You are correct. I am in charge. And when you're an entrepreneur and you run a business, you are in charge. And everything is on you to handle. And that's a lot. When you sit back and look at what goes into a business and trying to make a business successful, that's a whole lot of things that people don't realize. And I've noticed that people think because you own a business that you're rich, like you are wealthy, you can do
rolling in it.
And that is the exact opposite. But it's a lot. It takes a lot away from your family time. It takes a lot away from your other hobbies, which thankfully I do love what I do, so that makes it worth it. But it does draw a lot out of you as a human.
And this for you is quote unquote a side hustle. You have a full-time day job. So this is kind of what you're doing in your quote unquote free time. So this is, and this is running a company like this is not just a side thing, but this is kind of how you're trying to do it. What keeps you going right now?
That is a very good question. I just have the drive to do and to be successful. And when I do something, I always put everything into it and I want to be the best that I can be. So I think that's what keeps me going. And there are definitely days where I'm like, I'm over this. I'm completely finished with it. Here, somebody else take over. But then there are days where I get to go out and talk to people like at the farmer's market, and you meet really great people who have big hearts and love the products, and it does mean a lot to them. So it's things like that keep me going.
That keep the drive going.
Yeah.
So what do you think? You used to work in the world of banking and you've recently started a new job. So tell us a little bit, because the new job kind of fits along with the passion that you have for food sources.
Sure. I'm a seed purchaser. So I source seeds from all over the world to bring into the company that I work for here in Cookeville. We sprout them, we resell the seeds, we do a lot of different cool things with them. So that is definitely closer to what I wanted to be doing with my degree. It's very cool to source food for people, healthy, safe food options for people.
So when I asked you about being an entrepreneur, the first thing you said is you're in charge. Do you not particularly like that aspect of things? Because I do think I'm kind of the person who, I always want to take charge, and I always kind of, some might call me controlling. Not me, but somebody else might call me that. So do you think you don't particularly enjoy that kind of like have the reins aspect of things?
Yes and no. I like being able to do what I'd like to do with the business and make those decisions. But then if something goes wrong or something doesn't work out the way I thought it was going to, it's my fault. Whereas if I work for someone and they tell me to do something and I do that and it doesn't work out well, that wasn't my decision.
Yeah.
So that's just how I operate as a person.
Do you think it weighs heavy on your heart a lot if things don't, if somebody doesn't like the product that they've been given, or if there's a supply chain issue where somebody's waiting on something from you? Do you kind of take that to heart?
Yes, 100%. I absolutely just fear failure so much, and even if it's the smallest thing. So I think that's probably why I don't like the being in charge part of it, because it does come back to me. It all comes back to me. You can't make everyone happy, but I really try hard to, and when I can't, that hurts my feelings.
Yeah, which is, I think that's a huge thing with entrepreneurship. You kind of have to have that thick skin where you're like, you have to let things roll off you. So what advice, you've been doing this for a couple years now, and like I said, you really have grown the business into, you've added more products, you've added more different suppliers that you're working with. What advice would you have to people who aren't really loving the business that they're in, but still want to keep going with it? Where do you kind of find your passion for that?
Maybe sit down and make a plan, maybe a 1-year plan and a 5-year plan, and just put in the puzzle pieces and see if everything weighs out what it's taking out of your life as well as what it's putting into it. Because when it starts taking more than it's putting in, then it might be time to rethink what you're doing. It's a hard decision, and we all start these things or become part of them because we want to do good and be good and make a name or whatever the case may be.
Well, and I think you wanted to change, make an impact on the local community. You wanted people to understand why locally sourced meat was more important and healthy than just going to your average grocery store.
Right.
And so there was an education factor in your passion as well.
Right.
And so what do you think, you're achieving that right now?
I do. And I think the business is actually doing really well and things are going great. It's just probably a personal perspective.
Yeah.
Because I feel that I could always do better and I can always do more. So I think that's something people should take into consideration as well. You may be doing really well and you may not see that. So step back, and when people say, hey, you're doing great, maybe just absorb that like a sponge and just, maybe I am okay.
Are you kind of saying, maybe I need to absorb
I
that
might be
myself?
talking to myself. That could be happening right now.
Where have you gotten resources or help or support along the way, just over the past few years of the entrepreneur, the business aspect of things? I think the ag part of things you can do left, right, in your sleep. You get that. But just the marketing and the numbers part of thing, how have you gotten help through that?
So I've had a whole tribe of people help me just throughout the entire process and still helping me. The Biz Foundry offers a lot of great things. The Upper Cumberland Development District offers a lot of great things. I have a wonderful bookkeeper, Miss Mary. She is great, and she can help you with anything. I have an accountant as well that helps me. Advertising, there are several people who have given suggestions, and it's just one of those things you ask, and if someone doesn't know the answer, they usually know where to point you, and it's a web of a help web for entrepreneurs.
There is a good collaboration, I think, in this area. And you've gotten some help. You've worked with Blair Dudley with the Hip Cookville a little bit, and I think that's kind of gotten you a bit more recognition in the Hip Cookville Facebook group.
Fantastic. He takes really good care of Simple Beef, and I really appreciate all he does.
He's got a big heart for sure.
He does. He has a huge heart.
So what do you think, where do you see, you said, you suggested sitting down and looking at a 1-year, 5-year, 10-year plan. What's Simple Beef and Morgan's 1 year. Let's start with 1 year. What's our 1 year plan?
Didn't know you were going to put me on the spot with my own suggestion there. Wasn't ready for that. 1 year plan is just to keep doing what I'm doing. Reach out, meet as many people as I can, get the Simple Beef Company out there to as many people as I can, and just keep growing. I mean, I guess everything at the end of the day is about growth and being successful, so that's everyone's end of the day goal. Just that with balancing other things in life and doing that well. I think the balance is what I'm looking for within the next year.
Do you anticipate that that Simple Beef will ever be a full-time job for you?
That was the original plan. So if it keeps going this way and things keep working out the way they are, it's very possible. It would be hard to let go of your normal full-time day job if that day comes, but I'm not opposed if that happens.
Well, and we were just talking a bit ago about your day job, and you like going into the office, you like that desk, you like the interaction with people and that kind of stuff, where being a solopreneur, you have no employees that are full-time working with you, and you deal with the farms that you're working with, but you don't deal with a lot of people, I'm guessing, in the company.
Right. Well, as far as employees, I wouldn't think so, but farmers markets, events, and things like that, I do deal with all the people, all different kinds of them, and that's what makes it fun, is you just don't know who you're going to be dealing with.
The customer aspect of things.
And it's just like everything else. One day you'll have some really super great people, and then the next day you might have one that makes you want to, just sell the whole beef trailer and call it a day. But you go to sleep and you wake up the next day and you start again, and that's just part of it.
And have you learned, what advice to kind of like let things roll off? You get a little bit tougher skin because you have taken things to heart so much. What advice could you give to other people who are really struggling in that of just taking things so personally?
If you are doing the best you can and you believe in what you're doing, and the vast majority of the people who keep you in business tell you you're doing a great job, then you probably are. And if someone has something snarky to say or whatever along those lines, let them say it. You can't make everyone happy. Cheese doesn't make everyone happy. If cheese doesn't make everyone happy, neither can you. That's what I tell myself.
I think that should go on your tombstone. If cheese doesn't make everyone happy, neither can you. I do think, though, that people don't want to just be nice to tell you the things just to make you feel good. A lot of the time, I don't want to. I'm definitely that kind of personality. Right. If I tell you something, it's genuine. I mean it. I'm saying it for a reason. And so I think that a lot of people are in that aspect. People are going to tell you compliments, not just to make you feel good. They really believe it. So that's good. That's really great advice. So how can people find Simple Beef? I know you are at farmers markets different times. How can people find where you're at and you're going to be?
Sure. Facebook is where I keep everything the most up-to-date, current, active. We are at the farmers market in Cookeville on Mahler Avenue. It's got the green tin roof by Tech almost every Saturday. It will probably start to slow down a little bit as the cooler weather happens, but I intend to set up at least twice a month because people still eat through the winter. So you can find me there. Facebook, I have an Instagram at simplebeefco931. We have a website at simplebeefco.com. Call, text, email, carrier pigeon, whatever works.
Carrier pigeon sounds great. Any other last minute things that you want to tell people about Simple Beef? What's the most important thing that you want to let people know?
The most important thing I could tell people is just back to sourcing good things for your body. Many of us take for granted ourselves. We put everything else around us first, doing tasks for others, kids, parents, whatever the case may be. And we tend to forget that if we don't take care of us, we can't give to other people. So you can't pour from an empty cup.
Shout out to Amber.
Yes. So that's very important. So just think about when not just my products, but anything that you're eating and putting into your body. It is very important to take care of that.
I'm just going to kind of do a personal shout out in the fact of that includes what you put in your mind. And so what you read, what you watch, all of that kind of comes together to kind of create a healthy person. And so as you're going through women in entrepreneurship, it's not easy. It's tough. There's a lot of weight. And as much as putting healthy food can kind of recharge you, so can putting healthy, reading healthy things, watching healthy things, and just kind of putting your mind in a better headspace.
Yes, yoga, meditation, anything. I mean, it all matters and it works
Maybe
together.
some jujitsu, some self-defense.
Yep, shout out to Miss Yvette.
Well, thank you so much, Morgan, for
Yes.
coming in. It was great to have you. I'm excited to see what other products you come up with and where this goes.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.